Skinny Hardaway 17, back with another EP. Y'all do your boy solid. Y'all smash that like button for your boy when you roll on in. Whether you're here for a good time or a long time, I greatly appreciate you sliding through. If this is your first time, do your boy solid. Don't make it the last time. Hit that like button and hit that subscription button as well. We talk this good boxing, sports, parlays, predictions, football, basketball, MMA, collegiate, professional, amateur, every single day, not just today. Today we're here with a bit of an open discussion, although I don't really expect, a whole lot of people, what I mean, to be open to this discussion, right? At least not the people that I really want to be open to this discussion, right? So 9 times out of 10, YouTube. Y'all probably just go be sitting here watching me give y'all an old fashioned, boxing talk. And ain't nothing wrong with that either. You know what I mean? Ain't nothing wrong with that either, right? But I digress. Today, now this isn't my boxing point. Y'all know T. I'm the kind of guy who gives credit where it's due, right? And I think his name is Boxing Media Today, New Boxing Media, something like that. It's something like that. YouTube. But this wasn't even though I said something like this previously, right? I said something like this previously, but a lot of people have recency bias on it, right? So I think his name Showbiz Media or something, like he brought it back up, right? So since he brought it back up and he has a bigger platform, right? And it's kind of getting waves right now, right? I want to have an open discussion, about it myself, right? Because again, I mentioned it before, right? And it happens all the time in boxing, right? But when we nitpicking, right? This fighter, that fighter, a lot of things seem to get lost in the shuffle and in the mix, right? So he brought up a point that I thought, was interesting nonetheless, right? Because it's the same point that I brought up before as well, right? It's always, I ain't gonna say always, right? But on a few occasions, right? It has seemed that Tank Davis has, and as you should, right? As the A side, you should utilize all your advantages, right? As your A side, you should utilize all your advantages. If you could get the size ring that you want, get the size ring that you want. If you could make a fighter wear gloves that he's not comfortable with, make him wear gloves he's not comfortable with, right? If you can get a hometown fight, get a hometown fight. So I'm not knocking A side using his A side, right? But I do think that it is worth a discussion. Shout out my guy King Jude, appreciate you sliding through. I do think it is worth a discussion, right? We had let's start with I don't necessarily want to start with Ryan Garcia, right? Let's start with Leo Santa Cruz. We'll start with Leo Santa Cruz, right? Leo Santa Cruz is probably, if not outright, right, the best fighter that Tank has been in the ring with. Maybe you go Leo, maybe you go Pedraza, right? Some may think it's Ryan Garcia, right? Whoever you may think it may be, right? We could at least say that Leo Santa Cruz is one of the best fighters that Gervonta Tank Davis has been in the ring with, right? Whether you feel like it's Leo, Hector, Pedraza, Gamboa, right? Back when he fought Gamboa, I think we all could agree, right? We all would agree that Leo Santa Cruz is one of, if not the best fighter that Gervonta Tank Davis has been in the ring with, right? Now, when this fight first happened, some people loved it. I loved it. I didn't really think, too much of it, right? Because Leo Santa Cruz is a good fighter. I'm going to give Tank full credit for Leo Santa Cruz, which I did, right? But facts are facts, right? Leo Santa Cruz did move up in the division, right? Leo Santa Cruz came from like 122 pounds. So he did move up to a division to challenge Tank for his 130-pound title. And that is the only 130-pound title that, that is the only title that Gervonta Tank Davis has, right? Is that 130-pound title that he won over Leo Santa Cruz, right? Some people, like myself, right, I'm giving Tank full credit for that Leo Santa Cruz win. Leo Santa Cruz is the future Hall of Famer, right? But some people felt like that, Leo Santa Cruz stepped up out of his weight class, you know what I mean, to fight Gervonta Tank Davis. There are a lot of people, right, who feel like Leo Santa Cruz was actually winning that fight up until he got stopped. You know what I mean? Actually, on the scorecards, like people like to say that a lot about Tank, right? I'm gonna give Tank some credit for that. A lot of people like to say, oh, Tank was losing that fight up until he knocked him out. It's only been true for one fight, right? The only fight that Tank actually was losing, right, up until he got the knockout was versus Leo Santa Cruz, right? So there is some truth to Leo Santa Cruz, Tank in that fight with Leo Santa Cruz that Leo Santa Cruz was winning that fight before Tank ended up stopping him. Some people felt like if Leo Santa Cruz, had more power, right, or if Leo Santa Cruz was naturally a 130-pound fighter, right? Some people felt like that night Leo Santa Cruz had a great shot to beat Tank. Some people felt like if Leo Santa Cruz's punches, right, could have had any type of effect on Gervonta Tank Davis, Leo Santa Cruz would have won that fight. So some people felt like Leo Santa Cruz only lost that fight because he was too small of a guy to be fighting Gervonta Tank Davis, right? Everybody loves this about Tank. I love it about myself too. Tank Davis, he can box, he put this boxing ability, but at some point in that fight, Tank Davis is going to put his head down and he's going to fight you, right? At some point, he's going to eventually start, he's going to eventually figure you out, or he's going to figure out you can't hurt him and he's going to walk through your punches. He figured out that Leo Santa Cruz couldn't really hurt him and he started to walk through Leo Santa Cruz punches, right? So a lot of people feel like that had a lot to do with Leo Santa Cruz just being too small, right? It's not that Tank was so much better than Leo Santa Cruz. It's just that Tank was naturally the bigger guy than Leo Santa Cruz. Not the taller guy, right? But naturally the bigger guy than Leo Santa Cruz, right? And for people who feel like that, oh, Tank brought Leo Santa Cruz up to 130. I mean, a fact is a fact. Leo Santa Cruz did come up to 130. He's not a natural 130 guy. He is a future Hall of Famer, and he is a multi-division champion, right? So he tried to dare to be great to move up to that division and fight Tank, and he came up short. I'm giving Tank full credit, right? The next scenario will be Hector Garcia. Hector Garcia beat Chris Colbert for their WBA consolidation fight, right? For that WBA consolidation fight, where the WBA they're still trying to downsize out of the belts, right? So Chris Colbert had to fight Hector Garcia on a consolidation fight. I know I'm saying that word wrong. A consolidation fight, right? They're basically shortening up the fights, right? They're trying to shorten up, the belts, get rid of all the fake belts and whatnot. So they mandated Chris Colbert to fight Hector Garcia at the 130-pound division. Hector Garcia was successful in beating Chris Colbert, right? And the story was, right? The legend of Hector Garcia was born. Now, Tank Davis again, right, brought Hector Garcia up from the 130-pound division to his 135-pound division, right? Hector Garcia was, if I'm not mistaken, he was undefeated before he faced off against Gervonta Tank Davis. And again, I gave consolidation. I gave Gervonta Tank Davis full credit for fighting Hector Garcia, but we do have to call a spade in the sense that Hector Garcia also did come up in weight to face off against Gervonta Tank Davis. Again, some people in that fight feel like Hector Garcia was doing real well in that fight until Hector Garcia was stopped. You even have people who will go as far as to say, and while I do think, it played some part in, Gervonta Tank Davis regaining his energy, not saying that Hector Garcia would have beat Gervonta Tank Davis without that stoppage, right? But to say that, that stoppage didn't help Gervonta Tank Davis, get his energy back. Now, Hector Garcia was able to get his energy back as well, right? But if you're Tank Davis, we all know Tank Davis has that, that bone breaking, that uncommonly power, right? So So you're giving a guy like Tank a chance at a second win, right? That's never going to turn out too well for you. The thing about Tank is some people feel like if you could get Tank, now Tank and his team, they made a what's good, A1. Tank and his team has made great adjustments in game plans, right? I know this Tank and his team, they break the fight down into 4-round increments, right? So Tank may come out the first 4 rounds, he may go a certain pace, he may box, and then over the course of the next 4 rounds, he started to turn that pressure, you know what I mean, up. So the first 4 rounds, Tank Davis, I know in his last fight, he come out and box, and then he turned the pressure up on those last 8 rounds. So that's kind of what they did, you know what I mean, to counteract that, Tank gas tank problem, that Tank stamina problem that Tank used to have. Not so much anymore, right? That Tank used to have. But some people feel like what's good, A1. Some people feel like in that fight with Hector Garcia, Tank was starting to gas a little bit. And then, you had that big commotion go on outside of the ring. And that was able to give Tank, that boost. Right. But I'm not talking about that particular incident. I'm talking about Hector Garcia, coming up in a weight class to fight Gervonta Tank Davis. Right now, while Gervonta Tank Davis fights at 135, some people feel like, man, he could have fought Frank Martin, right? Frank Martin was at his weight class at 135 when he decided to fight Hector Garcia, right? You had Devin Haney, who was also in that weight class when, he decided to fight Hector Garcia. Now, you also have Michelle Rivera, right? Before Frank Martin actually fought him. Frank Martin and Michelle Rivera actually ended up facing off against one another around the time that Gervonta Tank Davis and Hector Garcia faced off against one another, right? So I personally feel like that there were guys around 135 that he could have fought outside of Hector Garcia. I get Hector Garcia was, coming out that big fight with Chris Colbert, but indeed, right, common factor between Leo Santa Cruz and Hector Garcia. Both fighters, were coming out big wins, but both fighters did move up in the weight class to fight Gervonta Tank Davis, right? And some people may feel like, I feel like, I'm giving Gervonta Tank Davis full credit for fighting both fighters, right? But my opinion ain't the opinion, you know what I mean, of the masses. Some people feel like that Gervonta Tank Davis is cherry picking advantages in his opponent, right? You know what I mean? And what I'm here to ask the question is, does Tank Davis always seem to need an advantage? Right? So you had Hector Garcia, coming up in weight after his fight against Chris Colbert. Some people feel like Hector Garcia did really well in that fight. He just really couldn't hurt Gervonta Tank Davis the way that he needed to, right? He just didn't have enough pop behind his punches. Kind of just like, Leo Santa Cruz. And the common factor between both those fighters is that both those fighters came up, in weight, right? They came up in a division. So Tank was naturally, the bigger fighter in both those fights. Ryan Garcia, right? Ryan Garcia situation is a little different. Ryan Garcia didn't come up in weight, but Ryan Garcia and Gervonta Tank Davis, both fighters did campaign at 135. Right, there has been rumblings and rumors before the fight actually happened that Ryan Garcia and Tank was going to fight for a while, and it finally did happen, right? But it didn't happen before Ryan Garcia moved up to the 140-pound division. Ryan Garcia, right, and his team had stated that it was getting real difficult. Ryan Garcia actually missed weight for one of his fights, right, at 135. Him and his team was stating that it's getting difficult for Ryan, to make the 135-pound division. So Ryan had a couple fights like at a catch weight right before 140. He had 2 fights at like 139, trying to adjust his body to the 140-pound division. And then in comes Gervonta Tank Davis, right? After years of posturing, we go fight. Then here comes, Gervonta Tank Davis and Ryan Garcia announcing that Gervonta Tank Davis and Ryan Garcia will finally be squaring off against one another. Now, why Ryan Garcia, he did accept the fight. He did fight at 135. It was becoming increasingly hard for Ryan Garcia to make the 135 limit, which is why he now fights at 140. He had a couple fights at 140. He had a couple fights at a catch weight of 140, right? I think he came in 137 for one fight, came in 139 for another fight. So he was making his way to 140. And then Gervonta Tank Davis said, you know what? I'll fight Ryan Garcia, but I don't want to fight him at 135 for my regular title, right? And I don't want to go all the way up to 140 in his division and fight him at 140. So what Gervonta Tank Davis did was him and Ryan Garcia, they fought at a catch weight of 139, and he also put a rehydration clause on Ryan Garcia in their fight that Ryan Garcia couldn't be above a certain weight going into their fight, which is information that we found out after the fight, right? So with Ryan Garcia, he waited right until Ryan Garcia went up a division, brought Ryan Garcia back down. With Hector Garcia, he fought at a smaller division, brought Hector up. With Leo Santa Cruz, right? Leo Santa Cruz fought at a smaller division. He brought Leo Santa Cruz up, right? There really was no built-in advantage against Rolly Romero, other than the fact that Tank is just 10 times better than Rolly Romero, right? So it really wasn't no built-in advantage to Rolly Romero. The advantage to Rolly Romero was just that Tank was just so much better than him, right? But I do think it's some truth, right? I do think that it's something to, what I think is his name, Showbiz Media or News Media Today, something like that, right? I do think it is a little bit of truth in what he had to say. And he asked the question, does Tank, and I asked this question before too, but I'm glad somebody else said it, right? With a bigger platform. So maybe that'll be able to get the conversation going a little better, right? But he asked the question, man, does Gervonta Tank Davis always need an advantage in this fight? Now, if I'm talking skill-wise, right? Skill-wise, fighter-wise, I think Gervonta could fight anybody, right? But I also can't say that I see his skill, right? And I see, what he's doing. I also can't ignore the fact that I see that his competition level isn't the best. It isn't the highest of competition level. Gervonta Tank Davis has yet to be in the ring with somebody that I thought, could beat him, right? And then the guys that I did think, had a chance, it was Ryan. People who felt like Ryan could beat him, they will always be able to hang their head on. Well, he weight trained Ryan. He waited for Ryan to move up. He put the claws on him, so he needed advantages to beat Ryan. When it comes to Hector Garcia, people could say, man, I feel like Hector Garcia was, which they do say, right? I feel like Hector Garcia was boxing well in that fight, right? Maybe if Hector Garcia could have hurt him more, he would have been able to win that fight. He just couldn't hurt Tank. Tank was able to walk through him. And then you had the thing that happened in the crowd, right? So you got Hector Garcia punches just not being enough to hurt Tank. You got Leo Santa Cruz with kind of the same thing, right? Guys are able to land on Tank, but not able to hurt him, right? And then you look at that guy came up in weight. That guy came up in weight. Ryan Garcia, right, not smaller than Tank, but he came down in weight and he had the redemption clause on Tank's fights, right? Not all the Tank fights, right, but Tank's biggest fights is what Showbiz Media was saying. And Tank's biggest fights, it always seems like he needs an advantage. And this is an open discussion. What's good, D Free? Appreciate you sliding through this thing. Glad you can make it. Glad you make it. I've been talking about, 20 minutes. I'm gonna let this thing go. I guess about 30. Like I said, I didn't think many people would, really want to come talk about this. And I'm pretty sure some of my guys, right, some of the content creators and everything, I'm pretty sure they go see this, right? I'm pretty sure there's people in here. It's like when I have open discussions, like this for people to disagree with me, I don't really get the trolls coming here to disagree with me, right? But I'm not even saying that. I think when you're the A side, right, you are supposed to use every advantage, at your disposal, right? But if we're strictly talking about, is Tank gaining an advantage, right? Is Tank seeking an advantage in these fights, right? I truly don't care about the weight class thing that happens all the time. I think it's a little weird, right? If you feel like you could beat a guy, if you really feel like you could beat a guy, if you really feel like you're superior to a guy, then why would you need to say, well, now you can't come in a certain weight, right? Right? Why would you feel like you need to say, well, you got to come in a certain weight, or I'm not gonna fight you, right? Him bringing guys move up in weight all the time, right? So I'm not gonna hold too much on that. Leo Santa Cruz knew he was moving up. He still fought him, right? Hector Garcia knew he was moving up. He still fought him. So that's kind of, you know what I mean, on them. That's part of the game. I do feel like Gervonta Tank Davis could have fought people in his division instead of fighting, you know what I mean, Hector Garcia, bringing them up, right? I felt like he could have fought somebody in his division, you know what I mean, instead of him fighting maybe a Ryan Garcia. But I'm not mad about Ryan Garcia if I understand that, right? Is he purposely seeking advantages, right? I think most people on the A side purposely seek advantages. You know what I mean? My guy D Freestyle, I think when it comes to guys that are bigger than Tank, he makes it more of an even matchup by making them come down to his weight or giving him a rehydration clause. Right. But I think with Ryan Garcia, D Free, those guys was fighting at the same division. You know what I mean? They was fighting at the same division. Those guys roughly do fight at the same division. Tank has fought at 140 pounds, right? So my thing is, if you fought at 140 pounds, right? He did it with Mario Barrios too, right? I ain't mentioned Mario Barrios, but he did Mario Barrios too, right? We had no clue that Mario Barrios had a rehydration clause up until Ryan Garcia said something about his rehydration clause, right? Mario Barrios had a rehydration clause with Gervonta Tank Davis as well. So I ain't really have enough room to throw him in there, right? But he also said something about a rehydration clause, Mario Barrios, right? So that's another guy who said he felt like Tank needed an advantage, right, to really beat him. But with Mario Barrios, with it being his first fight, I guess I could kind of understand. But if you go fight at 140, then I say don't put no restrictions on nobody. If you go fight at a division, don't put no restrictions on nobody. You fight the fight, you fight within the rules of that division. But again, when you're A side, you can do what you want to do. So maybe his first fight, he's a little skeptical, right? Which would mean, he's a little worried. You know what I mean? So I understand it being your first fight, right, for you to be coming up. But if you're going to campaign and fight at a division, right? If you're going to fight a guy who's been campaigning at 140, I think it's wild to go and put a rehydration clause on, to say I want to come up and fight at 140, but I want you to be a certain weight, right? You can't do what you normally do. I want you to do it this way, right? You know what I mean? So is it indeed him gaining a physical advantage by putting rehydration clauses on people? Personally, me, in the situation with Barrios, in the situation with Ryan Garcia, do I think it was an advantage? Yes, I do think he gained an advantage by that. But do I think that it was the wrong thing to do? I think he exercised his A side. That's what I think. I think he exercised his A side. Now, I also don't think if anybody say they don't want to fight, right? Like if Tank say, if Tank say, reject clause and catch weight, that's the thing you want to fight. Fight night. Look, yeah, thank you, dog. I'm glad my Tank, because I'm really glad and these my guys too, Knockout and D3. I'm glad my guys came, right? I do think he got a bit, of an advantage. You know what I mean? But again, like I was about to say before my brother Knockout, let me drop the link too. So if a couple of y'all want to come spit y'all shit real quick, y'all can. I got an open discussion. I ain't even dropped the link. That's what I meant to do. I'm really tripping. You know what I mean? But again, I said something like this before, right? But again, showbiz kind of reiterated this, right, and got it going a little bit. You know what I mean? So when we talking about, hold on, let me let D for you. All right, there you go, Freezy. We're here though. But yeah, though, and I just thought it was kind of cool because I said something about it, right, and I also right when I said it, I said it when he fought Ryan Garcia. Right when I said it, I said Ryan Garcia, this really your fault, Ryan. So I don't feel bad for Ryan because Ryan actually was the A side over Tank. If you're going about popularity, he is the A side, but he lost his A side because he pulled out of a fight with Tank at first, and Tank said, "I'm not going to give you A side twice, motherfucker." After you pulled out the first time, you know what I mean? So that was Ryan Garcia's fault when it come to Ryan Garcia, as far as him, having to be a certain weight and whatnot. So that was solely his fault, right? So when it come to Ryan, but do I think it was physical? Do I think it was a physical advantage? Yeah, I do. I do think it was a little. I do think it was a physical advantage, but I also think that when you A side, you can do that kind of shit.
Hey, what's up with it, T? What's up, D Free? How y'all doing, bro?
What's going on? What's going on?
Chilling, chilling, man. Hey, I only got a minute, T. So let me just say this real quick because I'm at work, bro. But I'm glad you're talking about this. So this is I've heard you talk on this before, bro, and this is why I rock with you on topics like this because you calling it 100, bro. Like let's just all keep real. Yes, bro. Tank Davis is looking for an advantage, putting rehydration clauses and catch weights on people because he a small ass nigga, bro. And I feel like if you're gonna fight a motherfucker, y'all know what I believe. Nah, bro, you just make weight and you get that shit popping. If you think they too big, then you just don't fight them. But the other side of that, what's also true, is these big ass niggas, they're trying to fight him at higher weight classes with no hydration clauses and no catch weights, because they looking for an advantage too, bro. They looking for a way to come in this motherfucker big as shit to be able to take his power and be able to feel to try to have an advantage to feel like they have a better chance to win the fight. They are all doing it, bro. Every last one of them. Ryan didn't just want to fight at 140 for no reason. He wanted to fight at 140 to make weight easy with no hydration clause so he can come in 160 or whatever it is that he feel comfortable at. All of them do it, bro. They do it with Canelo. Canelo do it to niggas. It's just part of boxing, bro. Does it belong in boxing? Fuck no. If you so worried about Tank, then bro, don't fight him. And Tank, if you so worried about a motherfucker being too big, then don't fight him. But what we can't do, bro, and what I hate that people try to do is act like, oh, he putting the catch weight and the rehydration clause on nigga. He looking for an advantage, bro. That's some weak ass shit. That's this, that's that. Okay, but what about the nigga that's way bigger than him that know he don't want to fight at that weight class because he made it clear by dropping his belt and said he was uncomfortable at that weight class. What about that nigga that want him to come up and weight and don't want no clauses on him and don't want no rehydration clause? Isn't that nigga looking for an advantage too? Aren't they both trying to do the same thing and bend shit to their will so that they feel like they have a better chance on fight night? And that's what people don't want to recognize, and that's what people don't want to understand. So is Tank Davis doing that shit? You fucking right, bro. You fucking right. He is. Mario Barrios is fucking 6 feet tall with a fucking 73-inch arm reach. That motherfucker probably get back up to 160, 165 on fight night, bro. You goddamn right. He like, nah, nigga, you ain't finna outweigh me by 20, 25 pounds a night of the fight. But Mario Barrios and guys like Ryan Garcia, guys like Devin Haney, they don't want rehydration clauses because they want the advantage of size. They want to be able to take his punches better. They want to be able to take that punishment better. They want to be able to lean on them. You know, the same way that Tyson Fury was able to use his size against Deontay Wilder. Because we all know what would happen if they both were 6'7", 210 pounds in the same fucking size. We all know the outcome of that fight. Tyson Fury still sleep to this day. So they all looking for advantages. They all looking for a way to get the upper hand. And I say this: it's mighty strange. You want to talk about if y'all want to talk about advantages? Just think about this. Devin Haney hasn't had one single fight at 140 pounds yet, and he already talking about going up to 147. So what was he doing making 135 for all those years? Was he looking for an advantage too? What do we call that, bro? What is that called? So that's all I wanted to say. T, keep cooking, bro. I'm gonna hop back in the chat. I gotta get back to work, but y'all boys do y'all thing. I can't wait to hear y'all cook on this, man. I'm be in the chat, y'all. I'm gonna fall back.
Yeah, I agree with Knockout. All these guys are looking for advantage. And that's what I say when people talk about the rehydration clause, they put a rehydration clause in it. It's a lot of fighters that take rehydration clause and you never know about it because they never talk about it. It's like Mario Barrio. We would have never known that Mario Barrio was on a rehydration clause if he never came out and said something about it. And he even said, I was on a rehydration clause. The only reason why y'all didn't know is because I didn't cry about it. He said, but and that's what I say. A lot of people are on rehydration clauses. We just never know about it because they don't talk about it because it's not a big deal. The only ones that make it a big deal is the ones that was really looking for an advantage to fight that fighter. They was really looking for an advantage. So when a person put them on a rehydration clause, they make a big deal about it because they was trying to find an advantage of being able to fight that fighter, whether they wanted to be too big or they felt like the fighter was trying to drain them. They wanted an advantage. So I mean, I understand what Knockout said when he say Tank Davis shouldn't have a rehydration clause because people going to look at him and say Tank Davis only beat him because he drained him. But I also know that these guys are fighting Tank Davis because they know he's small and they feel if I can outweigh Tank Davis, I can take his shots more and it won't have that much of an effect on me. But it goes both ways because you should be fighting in your weight class. They have a weight class for a reason. If you too big to be in the weight class, then move up. If you too small to be in the weight class, then move down. You on
Right.
mute.
But real quick, I heard Knockout, say about Devin Haney, being at 135 this whole time, then moving up. Like, and y'all know this, like in boxing, most guys do stay at either guys start at a weight class and they start moving up immediately, or when you get in there, you stay at a weight class for a long ass time. And when you do start moving up, it normally is rapidly, right? Look at Floyd, look at Manny, look at Adrian Broner, right? When they started moving quick. So it's not unnormal for a guy to, especially if you don't feel like Adrian Broner jumped 140 completely, right? He had that one catch fight at like 143, something like that, 144, and then he jumped 140 completely. What's the guy name? Hall of Fame? Sugar Shane Mosley. He didn't even go to 140. He went from 35 straight to 47.
47. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So what Devin Haney is doing is pretty much like I said, all of them could fight at lower weight class. Tank used to fight at 130, right? And he had to move up to stay at 135 because of a weight thing, right? So 135 is more naturally where Tank is go fight at, right? He ain't missed weight at 35 just yet. You know what I mean? Yeah. Tank fought at 140 and said, "Yeah, I feel better at 135." Right after the fight with Barrios, that nigga said, "I'm a 135." But he knew that 140 probably was a little too much, you know what I'm saying? So I'm not even knocking him for that. But fighters like Devin and Ryan, all y'all niggas used to fight in the same weight class. You know what I mean? Barrios, I get your first fight at 140. I get that. That makes that nigga my height. He ain't my height. He's shorter than me, but he might as well be my height to be fighting Tank. You know what I'm saying? That nigga tall. I get that. I get it. He 5'11", 6 foot. You 5'5", 5'4". You know, so yeah, I get him. But Ryan and them, y'all all, I feel like, man, I feel like you better than Ryan anyway. You ain't need that shit from Ryan. You can let Ryan get as big. You let Rolly get big as he want to. He hit harder than Ryan.
I think that might have been it. I think that might have been it when he fought Rolly and he seen how big Rolly came in at the weight on fight night, because they said Rolly came in at 165 on fight night.
Yeah, like 160. Yeah. Like that, yeah.
So when he got in there with Rolly, he was like, "Oh no, I'm not letting these dudes just rehydrate to whatever weight they want to rehydrate to. Hell no, these niggas big as hell. I'm fighting middleweights and super middleweights. I'm only 135." Because I mean, if you look at Tank Davis, he started off at 126. He went to 130, then he went to 135, and he went to 140. But what people fail to realize, they were like, "Oh, well, Tank Davis fought at 140." Yeah, Tank Davis did fight at 140, but he also said, "I didn't like the way I felt. I feel better at 135." And everybody was like, "Oh, Tank, he fought at 140." The man said he didn't like how he felt. He feel better at 135. He don't want to fight at 140. And so everybody said, "Oh, well, he can go right back to 140." Y'all just gonna gloss over the fact that the man said he don't want to fight at 140. He fought there before. It's just like if, like Jermell Charlo fought at 68. He didn't look good. So if Jermell Charlo goes back down to 60 or 54, and they say, "Oh, David Benavidez called out Jermell Charlo," Nah, and Jamel Charlo said, no, I'm not going to fight him. Y'all going to say, oh, Jamel Charlo fought at 68. He can go up there and make that weight. The man just fought up there. He said it's not for him. It's not for him. He going back down. It's not for him. That weight is too big for him. The only difference is Tank Davis won his fight. I could see Tank Davis went up there. He lost, and like Jamel did. He went up there and lost. They're like, oh, he could go back to 140. No, the man said, nah, I don't feel good up there. And he won. He got a knockout. It wasn't like he went up there and the guy was just beating him up, and he lucked up and got a knockout and said, nah, I don't feel good there. The man, Tank Davis was dominating that fight at the time of the stoppage. He had dropped Barrio twice before he dropped him the last time, and they stopped the fight. The man won the fight by knockout and said, I didn't like the way I felt. I'm not going back to 140. I'm a campaign at 135. That's the reason why he dropped that belt immediately. He dropped the 130 belt and kept the 135.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah, but all those guys look for advantage.
Yeah. I just my thing is if you go fight somebody, right? Then y'all agree upon the weight. If with Ryan blew his own shit because Ryan was the A side. Ryan could have came in 180 if he wanted to, if he had to just fought him the first time. You know what I mean? He could have came in 180 pounds if he wanted to, but he lost the A side because he gave it up when he pulled out the fight the first time. Barrios, like he said, Barrios knew what the fuck he was getting himself into. With Barrios, I think you need a weight clause. You need a weight clause with Barrios if you Gervonta Tank Davis. That's your first fight at 140. And again, that's a fight that Gervonta Tank Davis didn't want that fight. He didn't ask for Barrios. Right? His people put him in that fight with Barrios. They was trying to put him in there with Keith Thurman after that. And he was like, hell no. You know what I mean? He was like, hell no. You know what I mean? They put him in that fight, but he didn't even want to go to 140 in the beginning. Right? So they put him in there. So with Barrios, I ain't really tripping on it. You know what I mean? With Leo and Hector, I clearly with Leo and Hector, what he trying to not keep from happening to him, right, is basically what he did to Leo and Hector. You know what I mean? Type shit. Like he's naturally the bigger guy versus Leo and Hector. I think it played a part. It played a part with Ryan, but that's on Ryan. That's with Ryan. Barrios, I ain't even bring up because, you know, that's a big dude. You know what I mean? Leo and Hector most definitely was on the wrong side of the weight on their night because both those guys was able to land on Tank, but they just ain't have nothing for him. You know what I mean? They just ain't have nothing for him. So I guess what I'm asking right myself, Southern T, is I seen you pull guys up, right? I want to see you go fight somebody that's worth it upper weight class too. You know what I'm saying? It's Hector hopping up to fight you. Leo hopping up to fight you. You know what I mean? That's basically we saw what happened. We saw what happened to them. Like it's basically that's the definition, right? And I thought Leo had a chance. I knew Tank was gonna win, right? I didn't think Tank I thought Leo had a chance, right? And then when the fight started, I thought Leo had a damn good chance. And then when Tank landed that hook, I knew Leo was too good. It took that to happen, right, for me to see it like that. Like, yeah, bro. Because Leo hit that man 100 times, dog. He ain't do shit to Tank. Leo hit that man ass 100 times, bro. He ain't do shit to him. Hector was hitting Tank with some shit. And Hector is kind of bigger than Tank. Kind of like physically, they about the same size, right? They about the same size, right? Physically, but
yeah.
Tank, like his power just we saw why Hector fight at 130 and why Tank is able to beat Barrios at 140 in that fight. You know what I mean? Hector was able to land on Tank, but at a point in that fight, Tank he started doing this same shit he do to everybody. He started to eat that shit and he started to walk through him. I want to see Tank fight somebody. I want to see Tank step up and fight that fight, bro, with somebody who is skilled right? Who is, as good as he is, and take a chance like motherfuckers do when they have to fight him. You know what I mean? Tank is A side in these fights. He A side popularity and he A side as far as skill go. You know what I mean? Like example, Devin Haney, is he maybe he A side popularity versus Loma? Maybe, maybe. You know what I mean? But in the ring, they about tit for tat. You know what I mean? Prograde and Devin, he A side popularity wise to Prograde, but in the ring, man, we don't know how that shit go, bro. Devin could very well go to bed next week. Very well.
Yeah.
It's a good chance he could go to bed next week, bro. When that fight first dropped, y'all remember what I said? Bro, I don't know about that one, Devin, dog. I don't know about that one, dog. And that's a real thing. I wanna see Tank have a fight like that, bro, where a nigga can say, man, fool, I don't really know if Tank gonna be able to, you know what I mean? Now we Tank power for power, Tank can hurt anybody, right? He can hurt anybody. But we saw Tank be able to drop and stop Barrios.
Motherfuckers keep
Keith Thurman
calling me.
didn't even do that, dog. Keith Thurman beat his ass. Like you can see it on his face. His face looked a lot worse when he fought Keith Thurman, but that's because he was able to stand up to Keith Thurman power. Now his face didn't wear it well, but he couldn't even stand up to Tank power. You know what I mean? He could stand up to Tank shit. You know what I mean? But Keith Thurman ripped his face apart, but Keith Thurman didn't even knock Barrios down. You know what I mean? So that power real. Him fighting niggas like Garcia, bro. Come on, bro. Garcia's a good fighter, but he just ain't got enough. He didn't have enough for Tank. Leo, bro, good fighter, but he just ain't got enough. I want to see Tank fight a nigga with enough for him. That's what I want to see. You know what I mean? And not have to, like Devin said, Tank can have all the money, but it can't be no rehydration, right? Like at this point, I want to see him maybe shit fight Shakur Frank because it ain't gonna be no weight. It ain't gonna be no weight shit. You know what I'm saying? Both them niggas, all them fighting the same weight class. It ain't gonna be no way. It ain't gonna be him. Oh, it ain't gonna be no excuses. No kind of way. Ain't gonna be no excuses. Ain't gonna be no excuses. Oh, Tank weight drained him. Ain't gonna be no excuses. Oh, from this dude, Tank weight drained me. Right? He made me rehydration. At this point, man, I want to see Tank fight. I want to see Tank fight his equal, or somebody that we may think will be his equal. Right? Does Tank always need an advantage? Hell no, he don't always need an advantage because sometimes he's at a disadvantage. You know what I mean? Now he don't always need an advantage. You know what I mean? But I do think he had advantages against Leo and Hector, right? I do think he had advantage against Leo and Hector, right? And ain't nothing wrong. It ain't nothing wrong with that, right? You A side, you negotiate how you negotiate. You know what I mean? Did he have an advantage against Ryan Garcia? Maybe, but maybe. You know what I mean? But Ryan Garcia was still able to rehydrate over 140. You know what I mean? He just wasn't able to get up, to like 150 and shit like that. He was able to hydrate over 140. So Ryan really did that to himself. Barrios, Barrios, I don't no advantage over Barrios. Barrios way bigger than that dude. You know what I mean? Barrios way bigger than that dude. If Barrios was able to come in, man, Barrios would have came in that goddamn ring. 100. You saw how big Barrios was. You saw how much bigger Barrios was than Keith Thurman. He would have looked like that in the ring against Tank that day. You know what I mean? And true enough, I think Barrios was planning to move up to 147 in his next fight anyway, right? You know what I mean? So he probably did that to himself too, staying at 140 for one fight too long, right? You know what I mean? Some people feel like that they was trying to get Tank beat when they put him in there with Barrios because the feel for Barrios was, he had been there 140 for too long. It was getting hard for him to make that weight, so he moving up. And they was like, all right, before you move up, fight Tank, right? And then after the Barrios, they tried to make Tank fight Keith Thurman, right? So some people kind of felt like they was trying to get him beat around that little frame anyway. You know what I mean? So with Barrios, I feel like then it even did itself out, right? With Barrios being so much bigger than Tank, that even did itself out, the rehydration clause in that. Did he have a rehydration clause with Ryan? Maybe. But Ryan gave up his A side, and Ryan fought at 135 before, and he was still able to get past 140. And I knew he was going to knock Ryan ass out regardless. Ryan could have been whatever weight he wanted to be. Ryan was going to get knocked out eventually anyway. He was going to get stopped eventually anyway. I think Tank did have an advantage versus Hector and Leo. And what I'm asking is, I want to see Gervonta Tank Davis fight somebody who may have an advantage over him. You know what I mean? Type deal. And I did a Sudden T earlier. I'll go ahead and talk about it while I'm here. I did a Sudden T earlier, right? About Tank Davis and the WBA elevating him, right? Tank Davis had put out on Twitter that he don't even want the goddamn WBA belt. You know what I mean? He put out that he don't even want the goddamn WBA belt. So my thing is, so is he not? He said, and Ryan still hasn't fought anyone at 140 yet until Saturday. Hey, yeah, did y'all hear what Ryan said about I was gonna do an EP on that after this one, at this hour. Ryan said he feel like should I wait? Well, I gonna tell y'all about it. Ryan said he feel like that the zone trying to get him beat fighting this dude. They said Ryan Garcia said he feel like they trying to get him beat fighting this dude, this Dirte dude that he fight. He said they backing. He said that his promoters are backing the fighter that they putting up against him. I said that's wild, right? But yeah, but he said that today. He said that today at the press conference. He said he feel like that they trying to get him beat. Marky Dan said he better knock him out. He said that today. I was watching they final press conference right before I came live. That's why I pushed this live back for a second. He said that's a great way to promote a fight. Man, it's trouble in prep. I don't think they just doing this for promotion, Marky Dan. Marky Dan, man. Ryan Garcia been snapping off on Oscar and B-Hop bout, man. But at least the last 3 fights at this point. This is the 4th fight, bro. This is for sure the 3rd fight that I know Ryan Garcia has had problems with his management, bro. You remember Ryan Garcia and Oscar was about to go to court because Ryan was trying to get out that contract, but he been trying to get away from these folks like the last 3 fights. He been trying to get away from them folks, bro. He said he planning to leave going. Well, yeah, and I don't I was gonna talk about my next EP, bro. Bro, he said he fight they trying to get him beat. B-Hop did say that, Big Tex. Big Tex, he said one thing I know. He did say that, damn. They is you was talking about, right? He said you can't hide in boxing. He said something like you can't hide in boxing, and he did allude to boxing has a way of humbling you, bro. He made 2 statements, bro, at that weigh-in about boxing humbling you, and you can't hide in boxing or something like that, bro. Them folks. Oh shit. Oh shit. Damn. But I don't think this stage though, y'all. I don't think this is stage, Marky Dan. I don't think this shit stage, bro. I think this real. It's bro.
What you mean?
Bro, they was about to go to court before Brown was like, fuck this shit, bro. I ain't even do all that shit. I just finished my contract. But Brown was trying to lead them at the beginning of this year. Remember that shit? That shit got bad, bro.
Yeah.
I think this shit is bad right
Yeah,
now.
I
don't
I
think
mean, he should have followed through with that if he started it. I mean, it might as well. You already went about paying a lawyer and shit. I would have went through with it. But hold on, T. Maybe it could have been that he wanted to stay active, so he just said, like you said, he just wanted to finish out the contract and get a fight in.
He hurt, bro. He really hurt because them folks, he really feel like they fucking him over. He feel like they been stealing. But Ryan said all this shit, bro, on Instagram. But he said he feel like they been stealing from him. He said he felt like they tried to get him beat against Duno, type shit. He said he wanted to fight Tank. They didn't really want him to fight Tank. He said he felt like
No. because he wasn't ready at that time. To be honest, he should have listened to Oscar and Bernard. They could have promoted him. They could have got him a couple more fights, or maybe
No,
he could have prepared for Tank. I
no,
mean, he should have
it
listened to
was
them. To be honest,
it
They
wasn't
was
that. It wasn't
they was
that.
already supposed to be preparing him.
Right. It wasn't that because if you remember when they first talked about the contract with Tank, when he pulled out for the Manny Pacquiao, they was all on board with Tank and Ryan to fight. They was all on board with that. They said that Ryan was going to be Tank and all this stuff, and then all of a sudden they came up with that little fake ass news that said that Ryan is about to fight Manny Pacquiao, and Ryan pulled out.
but you know something, D Free. This is something that we've seen Golden Boy do before with fighters like Jaime Munguia when he was trying to go for Jamal Charlo, and they didn't want to let him fight Demetrius Andrade. And I'm trying to think of some other examples, but this is something Golden Boy does.
I mean, Golden Boy. To be honest with you, unless you doing everything Golden Boy tell you to do, Golden Boy is not going to promote you the right way. They're not going to give you the fights that you want. They want you to do it the way that they want to do it, and that's it. If you're not following that way, they're gonna hinder your career. And Ryan sees that. That's why Ryan is trying to get up out of there because he see that these guys they only out for themselves. They're not out for the fighters. So he wants to get up out of that contract. That's why he was talking to Floyd. He went over there and was talking to Floyd.
Ryan want to go to the PBC,
Yeah. He want to go to PBC or he want to go to the money team. He want to get away from Golden Boy.
which is PBC.
Yeah, yeah. He want to get away from Golden Boy. He don't want to be on the zone at all. He don't want to be he don't want to be on Eddie.
Ryan is culturized, y'all.
Yeah. He don't want to be on Eddie Hearn. He don't want to be on Golden Boy. He wants to get away from them all together.
Ryan want to be with the niggas, bro. That's where he want to be at. That's where he feels most comfortable at. He want to be with us.
And he know that's where the money at because he saw what he could make being over there with PBC the same way Terrence Crawford saw what he could make being with PBC. And he said, "Oh, I see what these guys was talking about. They know that's where the money at. The money is with PBC."
I see these niggas was talking about.
Yeah,
he said these niggas smart.
He said, "Yeah, I see what they was talking about. That daggone little that guarantee is not the way to go."
He said, "Fuck that, Ryan talk too much shit, bro." Hey, bro, on some real shit, bro. At this point, bro, Ryan fought Tank, bro. I respect Ryan, bro. I respect Ryan, dog. You get, bro. He fought Tank. A lot of niggas, you know what I'm saying? A lot of niggas that don't want to do that, right? A lot of niggas wouldn't have said. A lot of niggas would have said. He brought up the rehydration club, right? But he could have said fuck it. He didn't say fuck it. It was a time where he was about to say fuck it. He was like, you know what, man, fuck this shit. Just go on. We'll just do it. We'll do it. Fuck this shit. I respect Ryan for getting there with Tank. And I respect him for actually fighting Tank. Like he ain't going there and lay down. He was trying to, that's how he got hurt. He was trying to take his shit off. You know what I'm saying? So I respect Ryan for fighting motherfuckers. And for him to now he's at Oscar Dirte. This might be one of them dudes go, but bro. I did some background on him, bro. It's like the number one ranked prospect from Mexico type shit. Just like number one prospect ranked in Mexico type shit.
Yeah, I give Ryan all the respect for getting there with Tank because a lot of guys would have said, "Hell no, I'm not doing all that. I'm not fighting you at a catch weight and then putting a rehydration clause and all that. I'm not doing all that." I mean, and then if you look at the contract, Tank Davis made the contract too because Tank Davis said, "Okay, Ryan, if you win, you the A side in the next fight in the rematch. You're the A side." So I mean, they both gave a little bit to make that fight happen. So I respect Ryan for taking the fight because he didn't have to take the fight. He could have just said, "Forget it. My team don't want me to take it."
I respect Ryan.
We're going through all these hurdles to get these contracts done. Man, forget it. I just go fight somebody else.
My thing with fighters is, bro, you earn my respect when you fight somebody that I don't think you could beat. When you fight somebody that I don't think you could beat, bro, that's when you get my respect as a fighter. I don't think you beat that nigga and you fight him anyway. And they don't fuck around and win the fight. You know what I mean? But that's how you get my respect, bro, because it's too much in boxing. We see people where we know they about to win that fight. We know, okay, this dude fight this dude, he gonna win. Frank Sanchez fights fighter C. Frank Sanchez gonna beat the shit out of fighter C, right? Ryan Garcia fights fighter F. He gonna beat the shit out of fighter F. You know what I mean? Tank fighter fucking B minus or fucking C plus. When you are A plus, you fighting a C plus. That's a big advantage. You know what I'm saying? Tank will beat the shit out you, right? I want to see. I respect you when you fight if I think you are A plus when you fight another A plus, or you are A plus and you fight a fucking B plus, or you are A and you fight an A minus, somebody your equal. That's when you get my respect. Tank fought Ryan fought a nigga who I knew was gonna knock his ass out. I knew he was gonna knock his ass out, and he still fought.
Mm-hmm.
So that's when he got my respect.
Yep. Yeah. But I don't know. I want to see. Do y'all think if Tank Davis make a fight with De Los Santos, that's a bad fight?
No, I said no. That's not a bad fight. That's a good fight, especially the way Shakur ran from him. I said if I'm Tank, bro, it's if he can't fight, but Tank said he don't want the belt, but that's a different EP, right? If he fight Tank, if he can't fight Shakur for unification or some shit like that, because he can't say I don't want the belt, nigga. They giving it to you the belt. So what you gonna do when you fight? It's gonna be on the line. So you can't not take this. You can't not take the shit. You know what I mean? You gotta take the shit. You know what I mean? You can't just not take it. You gotta take it. But I digress. So if he fight Shakur, then cool. But if he can't fight Shakur, bro, Frank Martin, Edwin De Los Santos. Fuck people with Cruz. I don't want to see that no more. Don't want to see that again. No, Frank Martin, Edwin De Los Santos.
I'm torn between the Pitbull Cruz because a part of me don't want to see that fight again, but another part of me want Tank to go in there and just knock Pitbull Cruz out so all these people can shut up about saying Pitbull Cruz really won that fight.
I ain't gonna watch it because I'm damn sure going to watch it, right? But what I'm saying is, bro, we've seen it before. We've seen it before. That fight
I know what the outcome is going to be.
That fight is only good if Pitbull wins, you know, or if he able to knock him down or hurt him, or, you know what I'm saying? Like it's because I know it's gonna happen. Tank gonna outbox dude, bro. Tank that dude can't. That dude not good enough to hit Tank. He not good enough to close space on. He not good enough.
What a lot of these people that think Pitbull Cruz won, what they fail to realize is you getting in the ring with Tank Davis for the second time. Tank Davis already see what you are. He know you're gonna come forward. You're gonna use the high guard.
And he gonna be over the Marky Dan and D Free up here.
Yeah, he gonna.
He gonna get knocked the fuck out. That's what he gonna get.
In the fourth round. He gonna end up going early. He gonna catch Pitbull Cruz coming in. He might catch him with an uppercut because he know Pitbull Cruz gonna put that high guard on and try to come forward. He gonna catch him with an uppercut.
What are you talking about? NBA, NFL, NCAA.
Yeah, I don't mind the Pitbull Cruz fight just because so many people, particularly Mexican fans, had so much shit to say. So it's kind of like with Floyd and Castillo, you just rematch them and get it out the way.
And again,
this is one of them type of fights.
I'm gonna watch it.
That's
I ain't gonna watch it. I ain't saying I ain't gonna watch it.
That's how I feel about. That's how I feel about it. I don't want to see it, but a small part of me want Tank to go in there and just put that boy to sleep, or beat him so convincingly that people be like, okay, he should have never got back in the ring with Tank Davis. I don't even know why he asked for that fight again. But instead of Pitbull, I would rather see Tank Davis in there with somebody like Williams Zepeda. If you gonna give us a fight like that, give me somebody else. Give me Williams Zepeda, somebody that I know can throw a bunch of shots.
Man, he throw 100 punches around.
It's fresh. It's fresh. It's something fresh. You know, you can sell Williams Zepeda. You can sell Williams. Hey, Williams Zepeda undefeated. Hell yeah,
he undefeated. Yeah.
And what about Frank Martin? What's he doing now? Since the Shakur fight fell through.
Marky.
I don't know.
Hey, look, if Tank don't accept the belt, guess who WBA champ?
Frank Martin.
Frank.
Yeah, Frank Martin. Frank Martin is going to get. He's going to if Tank takes the WBA.
Frank got the gold belt. Frank got the gold belt right now.
So that's an opportunity for Frank. Or, well, I don't know if I don't think the WBA is going to force Tank to do anything. But
no,
that could be an opportunity for Frank.
What they're going to do is they're going to give Tank Davis the WBA Super, and Frank Martin next fight is going to be for the WBA regular belt on the line.
Frank versus
That's what's
Esau.
going.
No. I don't. I think the regular belt is going to be done at 135 because
No,
that's
No,
something
no,
they said.
no. It's
the
not.
super,
It's not.
the super belt is really gonna be done. But if Tank say I don't want that shit, then they go most definitely bring
No,
that
because
shit.
the WBA and you can say maybe they were disingenuous when they said it, but they proclaimed they wanted to get rid of all the fucking regular belts,
The
and they
No, they're not.
were
super
No,
ordering
it's not.
the regular
unifications.
the
It's not.
regular
It's
belt
not.
is go
It's
the
not.
regular belt is gonna be the belt. The super belt
No.
is the Floyd Mayweather
Right.
belt.
Right.
People
Right.
forget Floyd Mayweather is the reason that that belt exists because he
Yeah.
was
The super.
moved.
The super is the one
The
that's going to
super
go
is the
away.
one Tank probably go get. He probably
Yeah.
go get that one.
Because
That's
you
the
got to
belt.
remember the super has no mandatories. They're going to
Right.
get rid of the super and they're going to keep the WBA World
The regular
Championship
is
belt.
actually the real strap. It's actually
That's the real stuff.
the
That's why I
real one.
keep. But that's why when y'all hear me say when people say that rinky-dink belt, that is the actual belt. The super is the belt that's given to you
The
as a
Floyd
status.
Mayweather belt.
Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
belt that's given to you as a
That's
status.
why the
The
WBA
WBA regular belt is the real belt. That's the belt
that's
that
why the
has all the
WBA never
mandatories.
stripped.
Yeah, I just don't buy that. Josh
They never
Taylor, the
stripped it.
undisputed champion, had the WBA Super. Devin Haney,
Yeah,
Lomachenko, the unified and
No,
undisputed, had the
what I was trying to
WBA
explain,
Super.
no,
I
what
you
could.
I was
gotta,
trying to
you
Well,
got,
explain to you,
go
you
ahead.
gotta
Go ahead.
understand. You
when
gotta.
you become the actual champion, that's why you don't have to fight mandatory. Like the WBA never stripped Devin because once you win it, you become the super. You know what
You
I'm saying?
don't
You
have
become the
no
super. You
mandatories.
don't have no
You have,
mandatory.
Yep.
you
You
have
gotta
none.
actually the status like you fight for the stat. Like it's a real thing. Like the super, instead of you, they basically WBA I never strip you. They'll never
But
strip you of your belt, basically, pretty much.
You
but
got
but but you see that
you
right
do
there.
realize
That's the big contention that people had though. The fact that you could never order the WBA Super Belt to fight. That's why they started ordering the unifications between the regular
You
and the
can if
super
you the
belts
regular,
to try and get rid of that shit.
the regular
they get
champion, you can. Nobody else can. Like most sanctioning bodies, 1 through 5 could petition. The regular champ can. The gold champ and silver champ, they can't do
Yep.
shit. But if you the regular,
right,
like Tank could have, but Frank Martin couldn't. You know
right,
what I'm saying?
right,
Tank could
right.
have. You got to be the regular champ. If the
But
regular champ,
I think they're gonna get rid of the super distinction and just call it the WBA title.
they
I
want
think that's just what it's gonna be from now on.
right, Mark.
That's what
But if Tank say,
that's what it is with
if
the
Tank
belt that
say,
Tank Davis got.
if Tank
It's the
say he
belt that
don't
Tank
want
got.
it, then I'm thinking right.
Yeah, because Dev just vacated his belt, so it's just gonna be Tank. He's the champ now.
Right, but if Tank say he don't want it, Tank is too big a commodity. They gonna want to keep Tank holding that black strap. So they ain't gonna get. They want to get
Mm-hmm.
rid of it.
Because
Tank 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 gonna
3% of a Tank Davis fight is a lot of fucking money.
no,
Yeah,
I'm gonna tell you right now, Tank is gonna take the WBA super. He's gonna
yeah,
take the WBA super. Now he said he don't want it because people talk about the belt about him getting the belt without fighting for it. That's why he's saying he don't want it because he's not fighting for it and he don't want nobody saying he's an email champ. But at the same token, they give Tank Davis that belt. He's going to take it. Now Tank, he doesn't have any mandatories. He can make whatever fight he
why
wants
you
to
want it?
make.
Like, yeah,
He can make whatever fight he wants to make because he doesn't have a mandatory. Like the WBA Super is the only belt in all of the sanction bodies that does not have a mandatory. The only belt. The WBO Super, it has a mandatory every 18 months. The WBC doesn't have a super. The IBF does not have a super. The WBA is the only one that got a super that does not have mandatory.
unless the
That's the
regular
only
champ, unless the regular champ,
petition for it.
yeah.
Yeah, unless the regular champ petition for it. That's the only way the WBA Super has a mandatory. The WBA regular has to petition for it. And even then, it's still up to the WBA if they want to allow it to go
Right.
through.
That's why Tank never. I mean, that's why Devin never got stripped by WBA because he was super. You can't strip the super. You know what I mean? Really, what happened was right. WBA, shout out WBA. But what happened was Devin was the super, Tank was the regular. But Frank Martin is fighting the mandatory. Really, Frank Martin is the guy that's fighting Devin and Tank. He fighting the mandatory.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He the nigga that's fighting the niggas in the ranking system. Rivera was ranked there. Frank for him. The erosion dude that Frank just fought was ranked number 2. Frank for him. You know what I mean? Franklin bigger is fighting the Mendoza right now. But I digress.
Yeah, until they call him as a Mando. But like I said, I think what they're going to do, they're going to give Tank the super, so Tank can make whatever fights he want to make, and the next fight that Frank Martin have is going to be for the WBA regular, and he's going to be the one fighting all the mandatories, and Tank Davis could go around and unify the belts if he want, or he could fight whatever fighter he want to fight.
We're gonna see.
I want him to fight Frank or Edwin if he can't fight Shakur, which Shakur is the reach, right? That's the reach. I want him to fight Shakur first, Frank or Edwin. I think if he fight Edwin right now, that'll be a nice move. If he
Hold on, let me see something.
If he,
because what happened to the 118 belts when Anui vacated them?
Them joints are scattered around. I haven't heard.
No. But I'm talking about the WBA specifically. What happened? What happened in that situation?
They unified them motherfuckers. I mean, I think they got holders. I think Bam got one, didn't he? Bam moved up from 15 to 18 and got one. His brother got one. Franco got one too. Remember?
Oh yeah.
If I'm mistaken, yeah. I'm finna check though. I think Bam and Franco got one. Franco just lost his though, didn't he?
Let me see.
Missed weight.
No. And Nui's brother Takuma, he's just the WBA champion. There's no regular and there's no super. It's just WBA regular now.
Who the other champions?
I mean, excuse me, WBA champ now.
Yeah, it's the regular belt. It's the regular belt.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Essentially, if we want to just call it that from now on.
No, it's the WBA world champion. That's what it's called.
Yeah.
Like when they introduced Tank Davis, he's the WBA world champion.
Man, and Nui brother is not that fucking good. Them niggas, they basically bought a belt.
A New Way brother, yeah, he decent.
Okay, and I'm looking at the lightweight right now. Yep. There's no super over Tank Davis. It's just Gervonta Davis, regular champion.
Yeah, because Devin Haney has the belts and he's at 140 right now. He hasn't.
So Tank said, you know what I'm saying? Tank said he don't get the belt is irrelevant. He can't not get it. He can't not because he's next. You can't not get it.
Yeah, right now, like I said, now Devin Haney has the belt, but he's at 140, so they don't have any.
No, Devin don't get it. Devin Haney don't get it no more.
He dropped him already.
Yep.
Let it go.
Yeah, he vacated yesterday.
Yesterday.
Yeah, so the WBA Super, because the WBA Super is not an actual title that you can fight for unless you're unifying, it doesn't exist.
Bro,
that's a status.
Bro, do y'all realize Devin Haney is putting an end to all the float belts, like all the float belts?
Because you got to remember before Lomachenko had got that WBA Super.
Hey, y'all know why Super was invented though? Y'all really wonder why Super was? I can't remember exactly who Floyd fought, but y'all want to know the reason the Super was actually invented?
Why?
Floyd was supposed to fight Keith Thurman.
No, it wasn't Keith Thurman. It was Kell Brooks.
Kell Brooks, yeah. He was supposed to fight Kell Brooks.
And that's when Floyd said, I don't need to fight Kell Brooks. I got 3 belts. I'm already undisputed.
Hey.
Yep.
Yeah, it was Kell Brooks. He said, I don't need to fight Kell Brooks. I already got 3 belts. That makes
perfect sense. Because guess what? Kell Brooks was the young, he was the newbie on the block, right? And Floyd was Floyd, bro. So I'm not fighting no nigga named Kell Brooks. You know what I mean? I'm not fighting no nigga named Kell Brooks. So the Super was invented. Type shit. That's when Floyd, around that time when Floyd started to fuck the belt. I am the show. That's when he kind of started that shit. I am the show. I run that shit. And he do. You know what I mean? But that's when he started dropping the belts. Like, bro, I don't need them belts. Then when they started making new belts every time Floyd fight. The diamond belt. You know what I mean? It started coming up. That shit was so fresh the first time I seen it.
Y'all also gotta remember before Lomachenko had got that WBA Super, it was Linares was the WBA regular. The WBA super didn't exist for 8 years at 135 pounds. Linares was the WBA regular. When Linares was
And they
signed
brought
to
it.
fight Lomachenko, they made
They
him
brought
the
it back.
super.
They
They
brought
made
it
him the
back to let
super.
Loma bounce around. To let
Yep,
him bounce around.
because it didn't exist in the WB in the 135 pound division for 8 years. It didn't exist. It wasn't until Loma was signed to fight Linares, they made Linares the WBA super champion right before the fight.
Yep. It's a status belt. That's why if Tank say I don't want that bitch, they gonna let Tank get the Superman. If he, but he, or they just, but Tank can say he don't want it. Like he can not accept it, but
Yeah, he
the
can't
status is
not
gonna be
accept
the
it because
status.
only way he can not
They gonna
accept it
wait.
is by dropping his WBA record. He has to drop it.
Yeah.
And he's not
Yep.
going to
But
drop his WBA
they just
regular
don't
belt.
change the name of the belt. That's really all that's about to happen. He's the man at with the WBA at 135. He's the
They ain't gonna
only
change
guy
the
they got.
name. They ain't gonna change the name. The name won't stay the same. WBA World Champion. That's it's gonna stay the
Yeah,
same.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. It'll change from regular belt to just world title.
It's never been called the regular belt. People call it the regular belt. It's always been called the WBA World Champion. People
Oh,
call
okay,
it the
okay,
regular
okay.
belt. Yeah, yeah. It was never called
Okay,
the
all right.
regular belt. Like even when you look at it,
Uh,
it says the WBA World Champion. It says WBA World Champion. It doesn't say regular. It says WBA World Champion.
uh, I don't know, D Free. I just don't care about like whether you want to call it a regular belt or official, just wasn't
You,
look at it as the actual belt. But that was me, and Tank Davis is in the position he's in now. It just is what it is, man. Whether they call it a regular belt, a world title, whatever they want to call it, they could change that shit. Call it the Tank Davis Diamond fucking Bentley truck belt. They could call that shit whatever they want.
Tank Davis has the same belt that that David Morrell had, the WBA World Championship belt. It's the same belt. The only difference is
Yeah, basically.
Canelo Alvarez has the WBA Super.
Yeah.
That's the only difference. Canelo Alvarez had the WBA Super. The same way that Devin Haney had the WBA Super, Tank Davis had the WBA World Championship belt. I mean, it's the same
I don't know,
thing.
D3.
It's the
Like,
same thing in the heavyweight division. I forgot who got the WBA World Champion in the heavyweight division, but it's somebody has the WBA
yeah,
World
fucking
Champion.
who was it? Trevor Bryan. You
Yeah,
better
he got
stop
Yeah,
that shit. Trevor Bryan
he
ain't no
got
goddamn
he
world
got
champion.
knocked out. He got knocked out. Now he's not a world champion because
Or
it's a
excuse me,
super.
Daniel Dubois.
yeah, Daniel
It's a
Dubois. That's
super.
Oh
right.
no. Usyk, no. Usyk unified the belt. No, my bad.
Yeah, Usyk is the super champ, but it's
Yeah,
it's the
Usyk
regular.
took the belt from,
No,
but he
Usyk
was
is
the
the
W.
straight world champion. No more super distinction.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
not a
because Trevor
super.
got his ass whooped. Yeah, once Trevor,
Yeah,
yeah, I remember now. Once Trevor got not stopped, they just got rid of him. He didn't transfer to the dude that beat him. They just stopped him.
yeah.
Yeah, I remember
So
now.
it's just the
I
WBA
remember now.
World.
Yeah, that's what happened.
Man, that shit was a goddamn shame they even had that man have the belt.
Yeah, that's what happened.
I mean,
They gave it to him because he was an American champion. He was an American
He was a
champion.
knock knee bastard. And I actually bet $50 on him looking at him at the weigh in. But then when he got in the ring and I saw his legs, I said, man, this is some bullshit.
Uh,
why y'all always looking at people's legs and thinking that they can't fight because of the legs?
Man, you had to see this man's calves were skinny as hell, but his top is like he's like BBO with skinny ass legs and knock knees. It was
I
some
mean,
bullshit.
Mike Tyson was the same way. Mike Tyson had small legs.
But Mike
He never,
Tyson was sturdy. He was built like a brick, D freak. Trevor
yeah, but
Bermain is built like a fucking
he
cartoon
had some
character.
burger head.
That nigga does
He
not
had some
look like
burger
a normal human being.
Mike Tyson did have some little ass legs.
No, Mike Tyson had some little ass legs. I remember they used to clown Mike Tyson about his legs. They were like, he got some little ass legs, but he was steady knocking people out because everybody was trying to figure out how he generates so much power with those little legs he got. They kept saying, how he generates so much power when he got little legs.
His legs is little as hell. When you just think about it, Mike Tyson.
Mike Tyson got little legs now. If you saw when he fought Roy Jones, his legs still.
Hey, you're actually right, dude. He real buff on top, but he's like a little ass dude for real.
Oh, Mike Tyson got no legs.
Mike Tyson had some little teeny legs. Mike Tyson legs was like
Hey, I'm gonna be right back, y'all.
Mike Tyson legs was like yours, T. He got little legs like yours.
He do, when I'm thinking about it, that shit just changed my childhood. Mike Tyson walking around with my legs.
He was walking around looking like a lollipop.
Oh shit! My legs is little as fuck, bro. He got no fucking calf muscle or shit.
Yeah.
Damn, Mike. I never even noticed it though. Oh shit, that's funny as hell. Mike do got some little legs.
Yeah. And he used to always come in that joint with a ripped up towel and daggone boxing shoes with no socks.
Mike got Deontay Wilder legs, though. That's crazy.
Yeah. I want to see because Ryan fight this Saturday, right?
Yeah, he fights Saturday. Yeah.
He fights Saturday. Then next week we got the Regis Prograis, and then the 16th we got David Morrell. And then the 23rd we got who fighting on the 23rd? The 23rd is Ryan is this week. Devin Haney next week. David Morrell the 16th. And the 23rd is damn, it just slipped my mind. Who the hell is fighting on the 23rd? Who fighting on the 23rd? That joint just slipped my mind. Oh my God. I can't even think of who fighting on the 23rd now.
Oh, Wilder them.
Oh yeah, Wilder. That's what it is.
Everybody fighting on the 23rd.
Yeah, the heavyweight.
Joshua, Wilder, Parker, Bivol, London Arthur, Opatia, and Zorro. That's gonna be a banger. Hergovic. I don't know who Hergovic fighting. Frank Sanchez fighting Junior Fowl.
See, Hergovic should be fighting Frank Sanchez. Deontay Wilder should be fighting AJ. Big Baby Miller should be fighting Otto Wallen. Who Deontay Wilder fighting? Oh, Joseph Parker. Or Joseph Parker should be fighting Otto Wallen or Big Baby Miller. But all those guys are fighting the wrong opponents. They all fighting the wrong opponents.
The fights that you want to see probably gonna happen next. Different. Just you want to see
maybe. I don't know. Big Baby Miller might end up getting.
Hey, bro, Wilder and Anthony Joshua, bro, them boys is in some fights, bro. Them folks ain't just in fights, bro. You know what I'm saying? People, I know we're gonna talk about Joseph Parker, bro. Joseph Parker can box, bro. That nigga can fight, bro. He can fight. Now,
yeah, he can box, but it's probably going to end like daggone Dominique Brazil. It's probably going to end like Dominique Brazil.
I knew you were going to say that.
That's what he gonna come in there. He's gonna get caught with a 1-2, and it's gonna be over.
That's probably how it's gonna end, yeah. But I think it's gonna be a little longer than that.
No, that shit was the first round. I was like, God damn, Dominique, you couldn't do nothing. You didn't see that shit coming. I saw that shit coming from a mile away. That nigga just stood there like he was just gonna take it. I'm like, damn, he didn't see that shit coming. You could at least move your head and let it glance past you or something.
I'm looking at it. Wilder is minus 625, Anthony Joshua minus 425. There's some hell of some odds for Wilder and Joshua, boy.
Yeah, you ain't winning nothing off of them. You got to bet on the whole parlay. You got to bet $600 just to win 100. Basically, in order for you to win $200, you got to bet 1,000. You got to bet a 1,000 in order to win 200.
Let's see what the knockout is. Let's see what KO. Let's see what Wilder
Deontay
KO.
Wilder knockout is probably even greater.
Montana Love fight Leon Perro.
Montana Love might get knocked out.
Perro gonna stop that.
Montana Love might get knocked out, dog.
Perro gonna stop that, man. Ah, they ain't got the knockout odds yet. But yeah, that's crazy, though. Ooh, yeah. Damn, Joshua. That's some good fights, though, bro. This gonna be a nice wake up.
Yo, if Joshua go out here and get beat up by Otto Wallen,
let's see, Hercules.
I'm like, dog, you should have never left Dirk James. You should have never left Dirk James.
He ain't leave him. He just working with Ben for this fight because he's overseas. You know, Ben can't work in America. I'm gonna take TL. I'm taking everybody straight up in one parlay to see what they do. You'll have $10 will win you $70 bucks if you take. I got Joshua Wilder, Bivol, Opatia. That's the cruiserweight champ. I got Jared Miller over Du Bois, Frank Sanchez, Hergovich.
Don't put that Montana Love in there, dog.
That's a different day. That's a different day.
I'm about to say, don't put that Montana Love in there.
That's for the 23rd. That's for the 23rd. I was trying to see 7 fights. Jared Miller, Du Bois, Frank Sanchez, Foul. Hergovich fighting some nigga named Mark DeMauro. I never heard of that name. Never heard of
him either.
Then Opatia fighting Elizero. I heard of both of them. Opatia, the nigga that beat Breeze for the cruiserweight belt. Breeze had that junk. He said Dirty about to stop Ryan. Boy, Ryan said they put him in this fight to lose it. That's what he said.
No, I don't think David Morrell fight goes past 5 rounds. I was looking at the dude that he was fighting. I don't think that joint go past 5 rounds. He gonna stop that dude early.
Stop putting Morrell in there with people. I gotta stop putting Morrell in there with people that ain't on his level out.
That's what I'm saying. Everybody keeps saying, "Oh, Morrell hasn't fought nobody." No, ain't nobody trying to get in the ring with him.
Yeah.
I want to see Morrell in there with I want to see Morrell in there with Caleb Plant.
Now somebody go get hurt.
He get in there with Caleb Plant. Caleb Plant probably gets stopped within 6.
He might have to move up.
I got Caleb Plant get stopped within 6 if he get in there with Morrell.
He might get stopped after 6.
I don't know.
He might get stopped after 6 D3 for sure.
It might be after 6, but I think it's going to be within 6 because Morrell know how to box the same way Caleb Plant know how to box. Morrell know how to cut off the ring. It ain't like he ain't got footwork. He got footwork, so Caleb Plant ain't going to be able to dance around the ring because Morrell got footwork.
He said Morrell should go fight Whitaker. They're not gonna put him in there with Whitaker already, bro. Morrell is a prospect though, but nah, they ain't gonna throw Whitaker in there with him. They better not gonna fight.
I know who bet. I know who better not get in there with Morrell.
Got more power though.
I know who better not get in there with Morrell, and that's Boo Boo. Boo Boo better not get in there with Morrell.
Ooh. I think Boo Boo and Caleb Plant might be the fight. That's what I'm thinking, fellas. That's what I'm thinking.
That would be good.
That's what I'm thinking. I think Boo Boo and Plant might be the fight. Benavidez and Charlo probably go fight. I'm hearing that. Benavidez answered Charlo. He said he wanted to fight Canelo, but he not gonna wait on Canelo. Benavidez said this. He said so. What he gonna do is he gonna take out the next up opponent for Canelo, which is Jamal Charlo. You know what I mean? So that jump probably that jump probably go. He said that in the interview with Pro Box TV. For real. I mean, Benavidez. So we probably gonna be getting that Charlo versus Benavidez. And I'm thinking the lateral move. I'm thinking the lateral move is gonna be Plant versus Andrade. Canelo probably gonna fight Monguillo, right? But then Canelo ain't gonna have a choice but to fight, you know, the winner of Charlo and Benavidez. But to sum this joint up real quick, man. The topic of this joint was, it was an open discussion, right? Does Tank always need that advantage, right? Ryan weight clause, Leo Hector, Sai Benavidez gonna return Charlo. Charlo gonna box his head off, man. He gonna hit him with some shit he ain't ready for. Gonna box his head off, hit him with some shit he ain't ready for. Don't y'all? Hey, that monster gonna have to come out that night for sure. Hey, God body. Lubin Ramos. God body. Lubin Ramos. I digress, man. I'm gonna get it with y'all tonight. So y'all know I'm gonna be back tonight for the NFL game, for the NBA game, the NCAA games. I'm about to send Phil to these plays. Appreciate y'all, folks. Now Phil to say if I'm live in the hour, let me see go on break in the hour. Those one for you know what, man. Shit, fuck it, we go. Y'all want to go through these plays real quick? Ain't number 5 y'all in there. Probably know it's probably 5 real niggas. So y'all want to go through these plays real quick? Y'all want to go through these plays? I already got a parlay. Right, I got a couple winners. Only thing I ain't did was my prop jump. What up, y'all, man? Only thing I ain't did was the prop jump. I drop a couple of these plays, y'all. I gotta do well, let me turn this heat off. Get kind of spicy in this bitch. Matter of fact, I'm finna end this joint, y'all, and then we gonna make some plays for that day, man. I'm finna end this joint. I'm gonna catch y'all on the other side. Then we'll make some plays for that. Appreciate y'all folks staying through this thing, man. Skin Highway 17. Y'all know this.